Hi, this is a quick little video to help you get started in the Beoga shell. So the first thing that you should do when you get into Beoga, so you should be able to go directly from your Canvas account and click on the link that says Beoga, which will then take you into another window that takes you into Beoga directly. So the first thing you want to do is to go, how does Beoga work? Go here first. And so that will explain to you a little bit about what is going on in Beoga. Now the next thing is that you will need to come and do your announcements. Your announcements, read those and find out what's going on in Beoga. So once you click on here, then that will take you to the announcements. Now every time I make an announcement, I will actually send that out via email as well. So your announcements will always come to you. You notice there are no announcements at this point in time. Now, once I'm done with that, I go back to the 105 Summer 16 YB right up here at the top, and that will take me back to the main course page. From there, the next thing that I want to do on this very first time that I'm in Beoga is I want to go to the discussions forum. So I'll click on the discussions forum. And this is where you'll be asking and answering questions in Beoga. This is where you're getting your participation points. So the discussions forum will come up in a separate window in the Math 105 shell. And the one that you need is the non-content questions forum. That's where you're going to start this very first time. In the non-content questions forum, you will see the introductions. It looks like one of our students put their introduction outside. This would not be what you'd want to do. You would not want to add a new discussion topic. You would want to go to My Introductions, and you click on the left hand side of my little picture there. Because I started this introduction feed, you'll see my picture. Now here's my original post, the introductions required by the ad deadline. Please introduce yourself and tell all of us about the following: where you're from, what your goal is in taking this class, where do you normally attend school, and what non-school related thing you'd like to accomplish this summer, and anything else that you'd like to share. Now you'll notice that I have added my own introduction, and what you should do to do your introduction is you hit the reply button on my original post, so the introduction here by Yvette Butterworth, and then you're going to hit the reply key. So the reply key, and I'll hit just like this, and then from there it's going to bring up a format. You have to wait till it loads a little bit, and then you click inside here, and then you can type whatever you want just in here, and then you can come down here and you can post it to forum. Now when I send things out with my announcements, see this little mail now button, that's what I click, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to mail it to everyone. And you see here this discussion subscription right here in the middle of my page with the click box there. Yours should be clicked as well, because every time you post to a forum, then you're automatically subscribed to it. So I'm going to post to that forum. And then it says, okay, your post was successfully added. You have 30 minutes to add it and make changes, and ask you if you want to continue. So here's my craziness added, and then you'll see other people's things added here as well. If you wanted to go and you wanted to say, oh, gee, Melanie seems like she has something in common to me, or I have something to say to her. You could actually reply directly to Melanie's post as well, and that would be perfectly acceptable. So you can just go ahead and reply to whoever's post that you want to, but you are definitely required to do your own. Now, I don't like my post here. This is a really crummy post, so I'm actually just going to click on it and delete it on my own. Now, I have a little bit more editing capabilities than you guys do, so you may not see that you're able to edit it in that case. So anyway, I'm going to go back to 105 underscore sum 16 underscore YB. That's the main page here. And that's going to take me back to this main page. Now this main page actually is already on my screen over here, so I can come over here. Now some other places that you're going to be interested in is your online content. Your online content is like your online textbook. We don't have a regular textbook. These are Swift files. So these are interactive textbook files. They're basically something that you read, but it moves a little bit as you go through the material. So as this comes up, I will show you what it looks like. So here we go. It slides in. It shows you the first page. And so you read this through. In this chapter, we're going to focus our attention on the equations that involve two variables. We usually use x and y to represent the variables. We are interested in situations in which x and y are related to one another. For example, if you live in an area where the sales tax rate is 7.25%, then if the selling price and y the sales tax, we would have y is equal to 0.0725 times x as a linear relationship between the variables x and y. And this type of relationship can conveniently display in a table for various purchases. For example, if purchases were 25, 50, 100, and 75, then a table below summarizes the purchases and their corresponding sales taxes. Now once you finish that, you'll notice down here at the very bottom of the page, you have a play button, right, a circle with a right arrow in it, and then you have a little slider here. And the blue shows you what you've already watched or listened to or seen on the screen, and you push the play key and then something else comes up. And then it shows you that table it was talking about. And then you push the play key again, and then it tells you some more about that information and how they're related. And you see that the blue highlighted information is relating to how things relate to one another. Then you press it again and it brings up some more information, and now it's telling you about ordered pairs in different ways. And now this slide is done because the blue slider here is all the way over to the right. So then I'll come up to the top of the page and it says 1 of 6, and there's a great big bold arrow that goes to the right. And when I hover over it, it turns blue. And when I click that, it goes on to page 2. And then down at the bottom of the page 2, you have this slider bar and the play again. So you play through and you get the information. And then the next one you play again and again. You keep getting this interactive material. And you work your way clear through all of the different slides here. And then as you finish, in this one even, we have a TI calculator interactive, and it shows you how to how to use your TI calculator to graph equations. Now the final thing is a knowledge test, and this little knowledge test helps you to see if you've gotten the information. So you can go over here and you can say, okay, let's begin this test, and it'll give you a question. And it says select the best description of where the following point lies. So 1.2 comma negative 2.6. Is it on the y-axis in quadrant 2, 3, or 4? Well, a positive number means that we're in the positive x region, which would be on the right-hand side of the coordinate system, and a negative y number, which would be in the bottom. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of visualizing that in my head. It would be quadrant 4. And then I can say submit that. And it says, oh, excellent, you were correct. Do you want an example or do you want the next question? So let's go to the next question. So select one of the following equations is not a linear equation. So let's assume that I thought that this one was not a linear equation, and I said let's submit that. And no, y equals negative 10 is not a linear equation, is it? So it says, okay, you didn't get that correct, so do you want an example or do you just want to restart the test? So if you didn't know what that was about, then you could restart this and it'll give you a little mini lesson here. And then after you've gone through the mini lesson, you could restart the test and begin the test again. Now this right here is just the content, and that starts you all over again. So once you have that all completed, then you can actually go back with the back browser button, and that'll take you back to the Beoga shell. And this is all of your content for the entire course. You will be covering all the material in here for this course. Chapter 0 isn't ever tested per se, but that basic information is being tested in other areas. So if you don't know this basic information in Chapter 0, you are going to have difficulty with some of the other things. So you may need to do some review with this information. All right, now that's like our Beoga textbook. That's where the textbook information is. Now the next thing that we want to see is what else can we do in Beoga? So we have practice problems, we have homework and homework solutions, and then we have the online quizzes. The practice problems are homework problems, but they're like little mini quizzes. So they're kind of like that knowledge test that I showed you without the examples. The homework is actually problems that you can download on paper, work on paper, and then see the solutions by going to this area. And these are just pages that will take you to um, different content pages, and then these will download PDFs for you. In fact, if you look down at the very bottom of the page in little black writing down there, you'll see at the very end of the URL it says /homework hwk underscore 0.1.pdf, which means those are PDF files. So those are all downloads to your computer, which you can print out. And then the solutions, it'll bring up a page similar to that. And the same thing is true of those. Those, when you hover over it, you'll see at the very bottom that it says hwks underscore 0.1.pdf. And so that is another thing that you can download and print out for homework solutions. None of the practice problems homework is due in any way, shape, or form. These are all for your use to work on quizzes. Now the online quizzes are indeed things that are due. So the sample quiz chapter 1, that one is again for your use. That's why it's called a sample quiz, but it's to help you see what the quizzes are like. You can take that one as many times as you like. But quizzes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be only 2 chances each one. So you need to be careful on taking those. Now, the next thing I want you to be sure that you see here is that over here on the right hand side it tells you all the upcoming things. Now because this is my shell and I'm the instructor, you see that there's actually some things that are grayed out. So the growth mindset activities here are grayed out. I'll open those up at the end of the week. That's our extra credit assignments. You'll notice that there's an old syllabus here. You'll notice that there's an in-class quizzes. Those were for a hybrid class that I taught using this information. And then in-class practice midterm, and that again for an in-class hybrid version. Solutions, you'll see there's a sample final, there's a final cheat sheet that I give to my students, and then there's old information for proctoring. You guys have your new information that's already here. Then you have all kinds of information down here and our syllabus down here. So just pay attention to this. I hope this helps get you around the Beoga content a little bit more.